Welcome to the next video. And I really hope it works, because if it doesn't work, I have $550 worth of 8-quarter walnut that I don't need. Hopefully they want it. I'm gonna make some floating shelves. I'm going to use this 12mm Festool domino bit to make some slots, and then I'm going to make some homemade dominoes out of walnut also. Heavy piece of wood. I need 3 shelves that are 89 inches by 6 inches by 2 inches. So it's like that much. So I don't want to cut off too much where I won't have enough to work with. Whatever's left is left. I'm going to just be using it to make dominoes with. Do have to just kind of square up the one side first, so that's what I'm going to do. These boards, this was $550 for these 3 boards. Now I'm gonna run a face and then an edge, and then I'll cut them down to width, final width, and then we'll run them through the planer. Then we'll have to cut the ends off, cut them down to length. Then I'm gonna route a bevel on the bottom sides, and then we're gonna do the domino cut. A little bit of fixing somewhere real cures black, so that would be ideal. Good, I'm not gonna mess with anything. And this stuff wasn't cheap. Ooh, that is strong. Whoa, that's very strong. Ooh. So, boy, that is a strong smell. Well, it says it cures black. It looks dark green. It looks like it dries black. Pretty awesome. Run these through the table saw, cut them to length, and then do the domino. Pretty steep bevel just to put around the bottom side. 1, a little bit more weight reduction. These are 8-foot shelves. And 2, it'll be a nice little detail. I'm gonna put the bevel on first, and then go back and do the domino holes. Here I'm just adding like a 1/4 inch round over to the top sides just to smooth them out so they're not sharp. And then I'm just going to be turning all these around and setting up to put my layout lines down for my dominoes.
I'm going a little bit onto the next board here so that I have my lines just all in line. It doesn't really matter, but just figured it'd be easier to be consistent.
Cut it. This is an important check, but not until a little bit later. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm taking those initial pieces that I cut off on the bandsaw and I'm squaring up a couple faces so that I can just finish squaring them up on the table saw, which I'm doing here. I like to use this magnetic feather board, one because it's universal. I can use it on my joiner, on my bandsaw, on my table saw, on my router. And it just kind of gives you a third hand, so it makes things a lot safer. So here I'm just finishing up squaring up these boards, which again were just the leftovers from the initial boards. So if you don't know what I mean when I say width, I'm just talking about from left to right. So I made those slots in the backside of the boards, and now I need to make basically pieces to fit inside those slots, and that's what these are. The width is from left to right in the slot. So that's what I just set with the table saw fence. The height is what I'll cut after I cut all of the widths. So at first I'll cut the piece down, I'll get the first width, and then I'll reset the featherboard and then recut the last pieces down to the same width. Then all I'm gonna do is reset the height. And honestly, that was the only check I did. So this is the final cut for the dominoes. So this is actually cutting the top to bottom distance. So that's this cut right here. I didn't reset this. I only cut this once. I checked the first one and it fit perfect. It's a little bit into the radius that gives it a little bit of bite, but top to bottom, it's perfect. So kind of lucked out.
So after I take a quick measurement and seeing about how deep I'm going to be able to make these domino holes, I go over and trim them down to a distance that's close but not going to be an issue. I am gluing them in, but I'm only gluing them in to the piece that is on the wall, the piece that's actually attached to the wall. So there won't be any glue in the big slots, so I don't really have to worry about, you know, the glue and the vacuum issue. So, and they're all pretty much the elongated holes, so a couple of them are tight, but So ideally, I wanted to have the flat, non-beveled edge against the table saw fence to have the strongest and hopefully probably best result for cutting that strip. But because of that squareness check that I did earlier, I need to be careful which side I put down on my table saw fence, because that's going to be the square side to the edge I need to cut. So, if you didn't notice, my featherboard wasn't going to work with it the strong way. So I had to do a little bit of math and move the fence over so that my featherboard would work and I could make the cut safely, still with a good amount of pressure. You see a little bit of burning there, but in the end, the shelf came together just fine. What a relief. So, thankfully, not having any major catastrophes during those 3 crucial cuts, I was able to line my domino joiner back up to the lines that I already had drawn and make my domino holes a little bit deeper. Because before I was cutting them with that 1.5 inch, piece that's gonna get screwed to the wall there. So they were only able to go so far. I think it was 70 millimeter or something. So I put them a little bit farther, and then I just wanted to double check that they were deep enough, but they weren't going to intrude on being able to close it the entire way. Something I really wanted to make sure of too is getting these pieces kind of mated back together. So as soon as I got these things cut apart, I really wanted to make sure that I got those dominoes in and I actually mated the pieces back together, because I was worried a little bit about moisture messing with it just over the next couple hours. So here I'm just putting a little dab of glue on either side of the slot, on either side of the dominoes. Let them dry, and now I am in the living room of the house that I'm moving out of to put some finish on. Here I'm just using a little bit of the water-based polyacrylic from Minwax in a clear matte finish. They ended up coming out absolutely beautiful. I really like doing a first coat with a roller if I know that I, kind of want to get a lot on and get a lot saturated, as much as I can get saturated in, probably, based on my sanding. But I do that, and I had to run to the store, and then I came back about an hour and a half later to finish it up. Quarter of 7. In the morning. So yeah, I didn't say this at the beginning because I thought it didn't really make any sense to. But yeah, I actually just worked through the night and built these shelves in one night. So this video was from about 4:30 on a Friday to this is 3:30 on a Saturday. So, yeah, anything's possible. Thanks for watching and have a great day.